What's going on, guys? My name is D. Anthony, full-time options as well as prop firm futures trader. Now, I want to give you guys one of the number one things that you guys should ultimately be focusing on if you want to become a better trader overall. So there's a few things, and we're not even going to talk about strategy, but there's a few things that you need to absolutely remember and definitely take into account, right? So especially if you're in the beginning of your journey, especially if you're in that kind of break-even phase or, barely starting to get profitable, one of the number one things that you need to focus on is capital preservation. Now, a lot of times, newer traders, or maybe even yourself, maybe you've been doing this for 3-4 years and you still haven't found that level of success that you're kind of looking for. But a lot of time through me talking with a lot of traders, probably over the past 4 years now at Evolution Traders, hundreds of traders. And the number one common theme that I see is they're not respecting and preserving their capital in a way to where they're going to be around for the next 6 months, the next 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. They're treating every market open as if it's the last time to put on a trade. They're treating every single setup, regardless of how much risk is in that trade or how much potential is in that trade, as if it's the last trade. So the number one thing that you need to focus on is preserving your capital, whether you're trading a personal account or you're trading for a prop firm. If you're trading for a prop firm, you understand your drawdown. Let's say, for example, I'm just going to use a very generic example. Let's say you're using a $50,000 account and you have $25,000 or $3,000 worth of drawdown. Now, that's the number that you kind of have to work with. That's the number, the amount that you want to preserve. So can we go out there and put on multiple contracts and get over leveraged to where one particular trade can essentially wipe out all of that drawdown or all of that account size? The answer is no, obviously. And a lot of you guys know that, but what you're not understanding is that you're treating your capital as if it's endless. Now, a lot of us don't have endless amounts of money. Even if you do have a great 9-to-5, maybe you got a settlement or an inheritance, you retired, and you have some money, and maybe you're not really panicking or stressing because you're thinking to yourself, I've got enough money to kind of reload this account while I'm in this learning phase. But the number one thing that all good and great traders do, and especially ones that are profitable for an extended period of time, are focusing on managing and preserving that capital first. And the next thing is finding those areas of opportunity where you can allocate that capital to provide a return on your investment based on your level of pain tolerance and risk. So again, a lot of times, for example, I'm going to give you one particular trade that I was in this morning on the NQ. So I was trading for Apex, the prop firm today. I think I made a little over $400. I took about 6 trades today. Some of them were scalps. One of them was a true breakout. 2 of them were true entries to my strategy. The other 3 trades were just continuation scalps that I was trying to catch momentum on, which again, I don't really like doing that because it kind of gets away from my overall rules. The first setup that I was in long, if I kind of point this out to you, those of you guys who follow me on YouTube understand the 20 SMA strategy, but we got the close over the 20 SMA off the initial washout off the bell. We pulled right into this rising 50-day moving average, and then we reclaimed the 20-day moving average. So that first entry was sitting at around 268. Now again, this I treated as a little bit of a scalp because I understood that we were still below the opening range lows, and we had this level of resistance here sitting at around 280, okay? So I understood that I had maybe 10 to 15 points worth of room before I hit this resistance. So I took this trade here, ended up taking a little bit of profits here, and then I kind of waited, right? So that's another thing. A lot of traders don't tend to wait for that ideal setup, and that comes back to protecting that capital. You want to protect your capital in a way to where you're not forcing trades just because the move is going in your favor. And I try to teach this a lot on a day in and day out basis in Evolution Traders. So if you guys do want to join that membership, I do have membership, and it's not a membership, it's a mentorship. There is no monthly fees, it's a one-time fee. But if you guys want to join that mentorship where you can get access to training and courses and live trading and all this, that, and the other, access to calendar, definitely take me up on the last spot, because once I fill that last spot, I'm going to go ahead and double the price. But if you notice here, right, if you notice, I was talking about this level today on live stream. So if you guys were on live stream, this 15,320 area was that opening range first hour high break. This was your original breakout today. Okay, so this was your original breakout. There is no other high of day, right? Like I hear a lot of times traders say, well, we just put in a new high, can I take the new high of day? There's only one breakout. So taking a trade after the existing breakout has already taken place just becomes continuation. It's no longer like a new setup, right? The move happened at 15,320. That was the start of the move. So if you're not preserving that capital, right? If you're not being protective of that money that you're managing, you can tend to get away and start to force trades that really aren't there. Now, if you did miss this trade, you can definitely try to take your opportunity and get in somewhere along the way, because you've identified that your top supply is here. However, just understand that the farther away you get from the original breakout spot, the less likely it is to start to work in your favor. Now notice where we've pulled back on this price chart. We've pulled back almost to the middle of the range. Now this arrow, this line that I kind of drew here on this breakout candle where I got in, I actually didn't hold this trade for that long. Okay, I sold literally on the next 5-minute candle push higher, but I'm okay with that because that's the type of trader that I am. Even though I've understood that my potential is to come all the way to this area, I don't necessarily need to get to that area to take profits. Now, a problem that a lot of traders have is that every time we put in a new high, they consistently chase those new highs. You're going to eventually run into a point in time where that new high gets confirmed and then pulls back. This high gets confirmed and then pulls back. You think this candle is going to break out and then it pulls back. We do break a new high of day here and then pulls back, right? So understanding that you can't take every single setup, right? And understanding that if you miss this trade, let's say you overslept, let's say you're working, let's say you were looking at another chart, and you get into this chart and you start to really look at it and you were way up here close to supply. You can't tell yourself that you missed the move and you can just go ahead and get in. You have to first think first. I need to preserve my capital. That's rule number one. I have to protect the money that I have. I have to protect the drawdown that I have. I have to protect that risk, right? So protect the risk, but identify the next best potential setup. And sometimes that means not taking a trade because you just missed the trade, right? So there was a point in time, and I was on the live stream where I was kind of telling the guys that even though I got out on this candle and I missed all of this run up here, of course I wanted to get back in here. Of course I wanted to be here. Of course I wish I was still holding my position here. I wish I was still holding my position here. But once you take a particular setup and you exit that setup, you can't just keep rebuying into the same setup that you were already in. Okay, so once I took my profits, I've got to let the trade go after that, whether that means I'm holding a runner or if I sell and take profits, I've got to just let it go and forget about that particular setup until my edge, my strategy presents me a new opportunity to get back into the markets. Because a lot of times people will get in on the original move, they'll take a little bit of money, and now they're searching and seeking for new areas of entry. Again, the number one thing you need to do as a trader is preserve your capital. If you want to be in this business for an extended period of time, you have to understand your emotional kind of makeup, and you have to understand your mindset, and you have to understand that preserving your capital is everything. And also, sometimes you need to understand that regardless if you missed the move, you were in on the move and you sold too early, you have to also be able to identify, this is probably not the best time for me to take a trade, and be okay and disciplined enough to sit on the sidelines and not feel that FOMO, not feel that emotional rush that you missed out on the move. Because generally when that tends to happen is when you give away a lot of your month's gains, a lot of your quarterly gains, a lot of your week's gains, or even days gains. So focus on those two things. You're going to be a much better trader. If you guys want to join the mentorship, get access to the community, the courses, my calendar, just get up to one-on-one coaching calls. You also want access to the daily watch list and live trading. I have one spot available before I double the price. It's a first come, first serve basis. I only take on a few new traders each and every single month. Our team is growing. We are getting a lot better. I see a lot of improvements coming with a lot of the traders who have joined within the last month or two. So if you're interested on trying to fix and focus on your mistakes and become a better trader, take me up on the offer. Again, it's a one-time fee. It's not like you're going to be handcuffed to me every single month. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. If you want to learn, you can definitely come in and learn for as long as you want to learn, right? I have traders who are still trading with me 3.5 years later after I originally opened up the room to the public. So again, you know, some traders have found success and went on their way. Some traders still enjoy that camaraderie and that community and still continue to show up each and every single day. And now they're great traders and they don't necessarily need to kind of look for that advice from anyone. They can kind of do this on their own. And they're actually helping teach other people in the room as well, because again, as a team, you can always be a stronger unit, right? It's very hard to do this alone, but if you have multiple sets of eyes on the charts and multiple sets of people understanding what's going on in the charts, it tends to be a lot better. So if you guys want to join, that link is down in the description box below, and I'll see all of you guys on the next video.